We've come to the end of panel 3.
No, Nikki.
And you're in for a treat. We have one final patient speaker, and I am so proud today. We had a patient on every panel. Her story is a powerful one and an example of adapting to adversity. She's been another staunch advocate for those in the Deep Sea Journey community. But her work goes beyond that. She is a creative writer, and like me, a mom of 2 amazing sons, and a husband who likes koi fish. I'm very honored that they have brought awareness to the BRCA community and also shared their story with, as being a caregiver, her husband, on the DiepCFoundation YouTube channel. Neither of us got through that interview without shedding a few tears and laughter. Please help me welcome to the podium my friend, Nikki McCoy.
Thank you for having me. In 2019, I had a very full life. I was a young mom, 1 son in middle school, another not far behind. You can see these little goofballs here. I worked full time. I wrote for a parenting magazine on the side, bartended on the side, just keeping life busy, full, making ends meet. My sweet and supportive husband, Sean, also worked full time and always made sure the dishes were done. So thank you for that. But despite our busy schedules, we had a full house too. A music room that was always noisy, games and bikes littered everywhere, and happy, healthy kids. In 2019, I also found out through an estranged relative on my father's side of the family that I could possibly be a carrier for the BRCA1 gene mutation, which increases risks for certain cancers, including ovarian and breast cancers. This news came out of the blue, and while a different kind of jolt than a cancer diagnosis, when I learned that I had a 50% chance of carrying a cancer gene mutation, I was shook. I felt an overwhelming combination of tragedy for my family and gratitude that this type of science even exists. Being BRCA1 positive contributed to my father dying of pancreatic cancer at 50. His mother, in the red dress, and her sister both passed from ovarian cancer in their mid-40s. And several uncles and cousins had prostate and breast cancers. But my ancestors couldn't have known the genetic connection we know today. I recognize the advantage I had on knowing if I was predisposed to developing cancer. After talking with a genetic counselor who walked me through the risks and benefits of genetic testing, I decided knowledge was power and took the test. Several sleepless nights and restless days later, I learned the news that would forever change me. I did indeed carry the familial BRCA1 gene mutation. I cussed and I cried. This picture, I really wish I could credit the artist, but helps explain the physical and mental torment that one goes through. And then I cleared my head. I had to make big decisions about what I was going to do to help prevent cancer from happening to me. And in order to muster that courage, I leaned into the growing sense of control about my future, empowerment, if you will. I was determined not to let history repeat itself. I wouldn't die from cancer in my 40s, despite my risk being close to 60% for ovarian and over 80% for breast cancer. My options for prevention were laid out to me by my genetic counselor and high-risk prevention doctors. For helping prevent ovarian cancer, guidelines indicate removing ovaries and fallopian tubes, and for helping prevent breast cancer, early and often screening, medication, or mastectomy. This was my first foray into informed decision-making as a patient in the rapidly changing and medically complex world of cancer. And while I was grateful for my care team, where else would I start once I left the doctor's office? The internet, of course. I swear the moment I heard BRCA was the moment my thumbs were typing on my phone. And through this search, I found people online who were going through the same surgeries or medication approaches or screening approaches that I was considering. The first step for me was the removal of ovaries and fallopian tubes. But I made the choice to also remove my uterus while keeping my cervix, a slightly unconventional route, but one that I felt comfortable taking because I talked with my doctors and I talked with women who had made similar choices. And I put together my little healing altar of medications and candles and things, and I went through with the removal of my ovaries, uterus, and fallopian tubes. And I made it through. It was challenging going through surgical menopause. I felt like a different person. I was relieved that I had taken ovarian cancer out of the ring before it had a chance to swing, but I was also grieving and adjusting. Once I got my legs under me a bit, I knew it was time to consider my breast cancer prevention options. And after more research, I was a little closer to a decision. I didn't want to worry about frequent screenings. Medication didn't feel right to me either. I would go the mastectomy route. But I needed more. What even happens during a mastectomy? What does it mean to get implants? Are there other options? I'm not sure. Maybe I'd want to go flat. How long is recovery? How safe is the surgery? The questions go on and on. Following my instinct and trails of online recommendations, I found DeepC Journey. DeepC Journey is more like a virtual classroom, which makes so much sense given Terry's education background. And one way that this online support service stands apart is that it really is made for learners. It provides credible content, including interviews with world-class specialists, patient perspectives, and more. And it's designed for several different learning styles, with the YouTube, blogs, podcasts, and more. Another thing about the environment of DeepC is Terry's personalized connection with nearly everyone engaged in the group. She even reaches out directly. Many, and several people reached out directly, many of whom I'm still friends with today. And especially Terry, we have maintained a personal and professional relationship that I cherish. Once I made the decision to do a mastectomy with immediate deep flap reconstruction using my own abdominal tissue, it was time to plan. DeepC Journey particularly helped me in my planning stages through the videos, Facebook posts, blogs, and direct conversation with members, and I devoured it. I normalized and nurtured my own experience through others' perspectives and advice, while making friends along the way. I had my surgery in late September of 2020. I had made several more informed, shared decisions by then, what kind of recovery I wanted, immediate or delayed reconstruction, scar line preferences, and more. The smile on my face that you can see under that mask is because I was prepared. It was late September 2020, so Halloween was a little bit on the mind. Waking up from surgery, my new breasts wrapped in gauze bandages with 2 Dopplers peeking out reminded me, my husband, of a mummy. So we laughed and laughed, and he took pictures. But the system you learned about earlier, while T-stat may have looked like mummy eyes, I knew those 2 red glowing eyes were actually watching over me, assessing the adequacy of oxygen delivery to my tissue, bedside to surgeon in moments. It was truly a revolutionary patient experience, meeting with my entire care team, understanding the risks and benefits, weighing in on decisions, and the physical and mental results of my mastectomy and deep flap reconstruction. I was so happy. 8 months later, I had a revision surgery where I got to provide even more input. I wanted to adjust my belly button scar, and so was so pleased to learn that we could. And the DeepC Journey was my bridge through recovery too. Tips on walking straight, massaging scars, protein shakes, all of the things. I healed fast, strong, and beautifully without any complications. But fast forward another 8 months, and unfortunately, the kicker came. I still developed cancer. A small lump in my armpit. We learned earlier about that axillary tail tissue can be really high. 5 lymph nodes were positive. Stage 3, grade 3, hormone positive invasive ductal carcinoma. It was aggressive, and so were we. Surgery, chemotherapy, hot tears, and feeling like hot garbage, radiation. I remember talking extensively with my radiation oncologist about preserving the reconstructed areas and being taken seriously. Just like my preventative route, I never stopped asking questions and providing my input. I remember that picture of me in the stripes. It was 4 months after my final reconstruction surgery, and I felt so good. I was loving it. But that's the progression there. One thing I know I want as a patient is reassurance. And without personal involvement, personal advocacy, and information sharing, it's difficult to find that reassurance. So I knew where to go even after a shocking diagnosis. Back online to find my sisters and allies. Back to Deep Sea Journey, where I was met with empathy, encouragement, and resources. Experiencing cancer was one of the most horrific things I've ever been through. But I got through it because of community and support. So I also found new friends through the online environment. This picture is a yoga retreat that I went to in Mexico after making some connections in the Deep Sea Journey online. I got involved with my local YMCA as a Live Strong coach for people who want to do 12 weeks of free YMCA membership support and exercise. I did indeed surf. I found an organization called First Descents, which provides outdoor adventures for young cancer survivors. I ended up getting involved with the Boarding for Breast Cancer community and going to Mammoth Mountain and snowboarding. All of these connections, I feel like, would have been impossible without that online support in that community. And I also found that through this, it's been a way to give back, like my Live Strong, like being here today. People at this symposium, and people all across the globe are revolutionizing how people view the cancer experience via online and social media. Like the Deep Sea Journey and its members, all the brave people who each and every day connect with strangers in an online environment to talk and share about their experience. And more, because of this visibility, vulnerability, and connection, you see a healthier relationship with what it means to be sick. You see an empowered approach to surgeries, recover, and extended support beyond the doctor's office. And in no way do I want to glamorize what happens when people are poisoned and slashed, poked, and scraped. Cancer takes lives, and any way you slice it, it freaking sucks. And it's just that our brains and bodies have been storing trauma and surviving extremes for centuries, and never have we been able to articulate or share what it means to go through such harrowing experience in cancer in the ways that we can with social media today. When you lose the sense of control that comes with cancer diagnosis, one way to gain ground is through information. And without this connection, like the environment that the Deep Sea Journey has provided, I don't know where I would have been. It's incredible that I'm even here speaking to you today. I just celebrated my birthday. I just finished, after my active treatments, I did 1 year of a targeted therapy called Lynparza for BRCA patients, followed by 2 years of a medication called Verzenio to help prevent recurrence in high-risk patients like myself. So I finished that on Mother's Day. I just had a restaging scan Tuesday, and I am clear. No evidence. Once again, my life is full. Now my kids are grown. I'm picking one up from Paris. He's coming home from Paris tomorrow and headed to Bellingham for college. My other son gets his license next month. And as I said, once again, my life is full. And this time with even more perspective, gratitude, hope, and community. Thank you for listening to my story.